Fire away.
Coach, what do you attribute the poor shooting overall? And also, you guys have made a legacy on being able to finish, and weren't able to finish today. What do you think contributed just to being such a bad first and fourth quarter shooting?
I thought a lot of tired legs out there from both teams. I really thought the difference in the game is their bench kind of lit a fuse for them. Like they made threes, when we zoned up. Pretty incredible in a game where the two teams shoot 21 of 86 from three. So I thought you could see, right at the start of the game, you could see both teams, just the legs were not there. The finishing around the basket is their length. We can't go 10 for 25 near the rim. You have to finish those baskets. It's so hard to get there. And it's funny, this game was so similar on both ends. You look at them, only 30 in the paint, 15 to 30. So I just really thought the difference was those guys, give them credit, Caruso, Wiggins, and Wallace. Those shots were the difference. We got up 8 through pure effort and energy, not necessarily playing well. And those guys made a huge impact. And then I thought when we went back to the man-to-man stuff, Shai's tough in the pick and rolls, but we did a decent job on him, but we did not execute offensively. You can't take a 5-second call. There was multiple things that happened there at the end where the game just slowly got away from us. So a lot to learn from. 3-game series now, going down to a building that we know it's tough to play there. We found a way to win down there before. So we'll regroup tomorrow, watch the film, get better for Game 5.
David, you mentioned the energy and the effort in the third quarter, started the fourth, growing it to 8. Why wasn't that able to be sustained in the fourth quarter and down the end?
Yeah, I think sometimes when you can't make a shot, at some point it's going to affect you. I could not believe the guys throughout the first half, when nothing's going good for you offensively, how it never affected the energy on the other end. And when you do that, you stay in the game. And I'm sure that wasn't the most fun game to watch in the first half at all, but we were just trying to stay in the game, and we did. And then to make that run in the third quarter with defensive energy and collapsing and just flying around, winning the defensive rebound, the 50-50, it gave us a chance, and we saw a couple shots go in finally. I think it loosened up the guys a little bit offensively during that stanza. But all the stuff we talk about, it's tough. I'm putting them in a zone. I mean, they had 15 offensive rebounds. We got to do our best to keep them off the glass, but I was really proud of the effort, and we just didn't play well enough to win.
Coach, then do you think this is simply the result of this game is because of poor scheduling by the NBA?
No, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to say that. I will say that I think both teams were very tired coming off an unbelievably physical overtime battle on a late Friday night. So if it affected us, it surely affected them as well. I mean, both of us had super tired legs. So it was about who's going to make that final run. And when we got up 8, I thought we were making the push. And to their credit, they were the ones to make the final run. And we made mistakes late. You can call them mental mistakes, physical, whatever it was. We didn't play well enough the last 6 minutes to win a playoff game.
David, I think back to the beginning of the game, a couple of the shots that you guys missed that set the tone for it were pretty good looks. How do you kind of evaluate the overall shot quality throughout the day on those threes that you were getting?
Right. I mean, you can't speak out of both sides of your mouth, right? I mean, if we're creating wide open corner threes, those are good shots. If I'm telling guys to drive back into Chet, I don't think that's the best answer. So if we execute, there was one play in particular I thought really summed it up. I mean, we ran a split game, a high split game, got a really good cut on the rim by, I believe it was Aaron. Michael was in the corner. He shoots a 3 right in front of our bench. That's a great shot. And I think that's what we have to rely on. But the difference is you can't get impatient with the missed shots because then you're playing too much isolation basketball, too much only pick and roll, and that wears down your best players. So we've got to maintain staying in the elbows, a split game, and living with the really good shots behind that through ball movement. And that will sustain your energy late in games as opposed to, I thought tonight, we got worn down a little bit in the fourth quarter.
Coach, Nikola almost seems as locked in on some of the fouls, the back and forth kind of between these two teams and just whether he's getting it, whether he's not getting it. How do you keep him locked in on just making sure to get the ball in the basket?
Right. I mean, I know there's frustration there, when he's in drop coverage and somebody drives him and they make contact and that's a call. And here's a center that's obviously a bigger man feeling like the same contact is occurring in the paint. But Nikola will figure that out. He watched the film just like we do as coaching staff. We'll talk about finishing around the rim, playing through the contact. Like I said, 10 for 25 is not going to cut it around the basket because you have to complement the three-point line with some paint points. And, only 7 fast break points for us, 1 for 4 in those opportunities. Not sure how we get to 7 with 1. But, we just feel like everything we did tonight was just not efficient enough. Second chance, we're 3 for 11 in those situations. Like, everything that we did with effort, we just didn't get the result behind it.
What was your view on what happened on the 5-second call? Mental fatigue, physical fatigue, element of surprise? What was it?
No, it wasn't. I mean, we knew Caruso was going to pick up. I don't know if Mike wasn't attentive to the play. He was the next man that was supposed to flash. I didn't want Aaron down there. Aaron was part of the ATO, and it's one of those things when you take the ball out of bounds, you don't want somebody to have to take the ball out, run to a spot, be part of the execution. So we just got to be more aware, and we've had press break all year long. We haven't had issues with that, but you're so right. You can't have a mental mistake like that with 4.5 to go, and I'll take the hit. If I come out and have a timeout, maybe I have to set up a press break alignment first to get into into our execution on the other end, because that cannot happen. That's inexcusable. And people could say it's a tire mistake. That's not. That's an execution mistake, and that's on me. It's something I have to clean up, obviously, in the off day tomorrow.
The zone was strong, super strong in the first half, and then they hit some threes in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
How do you kind of evaluate that? Are those just kind of the type of shots that scheme is going to give up, or are there things you guys need to clean up with that, especially at the end of games?
Yeah, they made above the break threes too. And these are shots that you don't necessarily want to give up, but you don't want to give up corner threes to get in a zone. So we had the desired effect. I thought as the game went on, the contests were later and later, and that's an energy thing, obviously. They changed their alignment on the backside, which was effective. So we can watch the tape and be better at that. But just the activity to go contest these guys. And I'm going to say it again, these games are so tight, so physical. It's small things that matter. And again, I give their bench a ton of credit. 8 threes made in a game like that. 8 of their 10 threes are guys off their bench. So, yeah, we took away the paint like we wanted to. We showed Shai and Jalen a lot of looks. I thought we did a pretty good job on those guys. But you give their team credit in a really disgusting basketball game. Those guys made plays and enough plays, to push them over the edge to win the game.
Coach, because you don't get this experience during the regular season, that 36-hour window, did you do anything to kind of make sure the guys were as rested as possible? And what do you do going forward with only a day off?
Yeah, the good thing is at least this next game, we have all tonight, all tomorrow, and then, Game 5 is another late night Central Time game, so we'll probably tip at 8:50. So at least this one is legit rest. It was almost impossible, this situation. You just don't do anything. You stay off your feet. It's all mental reps. The only time we had them on their feet was a very general walkthrough on the court of a possible adjustment. We ran a different kind of zone to start the game, a few things offensively, to get better at, and then you're just off your feet. It's really your only choice. You send them film at night that they can watch while they're just hanging out at their house. But yeah, it's a challenge, but like I said, same challenge for them. I'm sure they hung out at their hotel, stayed off their feet as best they could, knowing that their early start was going to be a challenge. So give them credit, man. That was a mentally tough win. We all were dealing with the same situation, and they came out on top.
David, you've touched on it a couple of times, but their bench outscoring you guys. So much has been made about how deep this roster is. How do you try and counter that?
Well, we just have to get more from more people, and I have to, maybe play more than 8 guys. I felt like it was, once we pushed it to 8, I really stayed with a shorter rotation, thinking that we had a chance to kind of push that thing, and take control of the game, because both teams were so exhausted at that point. And then, like I said, they made shots, and then once they got the game back to a balanced place where it was a 1-point game or tied, it's hard to stay in a rotation after that. And he stuck to his guys late as well. So just got to give credit to Alex Caruso, man, Aaron Wiggins and Kason. They made big plays, and like I said, in a game where it kind of was a role player game. No one is that efficient outside of those guys. And like I said, super proud of our effort. Just have to play better if we're going to win 2 more in this series.
The idea of this 36-hour window, you've done well with the limited rotation you had. To what consideration could you even give to extending your bench at this late in the playoffs?
You're right. And I think it's one of those things when you lose a game, you think about everything right away. And you wonder, is Jamal's legs a little fresher if you can go 2 more minutes? And I was trying to use my timeouts effectively in the fourth quarter to rest them. Sometimes the timeouts don't mean anything but that. I've talked about that. And you're right, it's tough. But, You have to look back at the game, see what the efficiency was of how we played. Obviously, we were very tired, as they were. And take a look at the whole roster of guys that can help you, and give you a couple minutes of energy. And it's like tonight, I only played Peyton 8 minutes and 40 seconds. I thought Peyton was really impactful. He played super hard. And that's all you can do with the minutes that you're given. But yeah, that we've rode our guys throughout the season for good reason. It's an amazing starting five. But I got to try to be as creative as I can be to help them have some legs late in the game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Mark, on the left. Denver obviously has an 8-point first quarter. They still managed to get a lead in the second half. But you outscored them by 4 down the stretch and by 11, I think, in the fourth. Just what do you make of the way you pulled this one out and your method of doing so?
Yeah, great first quarter defense. Both teams, obviously the shooting was cold for both teams, but I thought we were really on it. It kind of lost our way defensively, especially in the third, but did a great job of course correcting to start the fourth. That group to start the fourth was huge to give us a lead, and then the defense down the stretch was really, really good. They shot half their points were free throws in the first half, so the field goal defense was really, really good. And like I said, we lost our way a little bit in the third quarter, and then we got it back. We really, really stacked stops, made them earn everything, especially down the stretch. Really, really good job on that end.
Group to start the fourth, specifically Caruso, Kaysen, and Wiggins. What'd you see from them down the stretch?
They were huge. They made huge shots, and they gave us huge defense and toughness plays in that stretch of the game. Big time. And we played a lot of minutes the other night. Our top guys played a lot of minutes the other night in the overtime game. Quick turnaround with an early game today. We made a very intentional effort to use our depth today and get everybody going. And I just thought, their minutes, Kaysen, AC, Wiggins obviously was huge. Jay Will gave us really good minutes on Jokic, so we could keep fresh guys on him. And even Joe, he didn't shoot it great, but I thought, he played a good floor game and did his job, did what he needed to do. So I just was so impressed with those guys, and we really leaned into them today, and they really delivered for us.
Hey, Coach, I think there was a early in the fourth quarter, I think you were down 7, and Aaron and Kaysen hit back-to-back three-pointers. How vital was that sequence? How important was that sequence when I think you went out 1 at that point?
Yeah, like I said, those guys were huge today. Great, readiness by them. They didn't play as many minutes the other night, so, they had fresh legs and brought great energy to the game. And Denver played a lot of zone today, and I thought our attacks were pretty good. We got some pretty good shots, especially threes, and didn't really crack through. But in that stretch, we really moved the ball, found the right shots, and those guys stepped up and made big shots.
Mark, you got a couple things going to the rim, Shai and Dub late, and it seemed like you guys got that action maybe up a little bit higher on the floor. How did that impact some of those downhill drives you were able to get, which were obviously hard to come by?
Yeah, yesterday we were talking about the execution of the down the stretch stuff, and I thought that showed up. I thought we weren't doing anything crazy. We just did a little bit better. The execution, the things we could control, were just a little bit sharper. I said they were probably a 6 or 7 out of 10 in game 3. They were like a 8 or 9 today. And those are the margins you have to win in a close playoff game that is as hard fought as that one was.
Coach, in particular, piggyback on that, just talk about Shai, like the last 7 minutes, he more or less was involved with anything scoring-wise that you did and sealed the game, and even his assists were huge assists.
Yeah, he's just I always marvel at his ability to get himself back to 0 after every single game. Usually he's getting himself back to 0 off of a great game, and that's his secret sauce, is he stays so level and humble despite his success. But when he does fail, he doesn't point fingers, he doesn't pout, he's not emotional, he's not angry, he's just so level that he just gets himself back ready to play. And the last guy you're worried about bouncing back from a tough shooting night like he had the other night is him, and he delivered big time for us down the stretch.
Mark, you mentioned the quick turnaround a little bit. Obviously, you guys are on a an even playing field in terms of that. But what did you make of that? And do you feel like this team, just with the depth that you have, is particularly equipped to handle that kind of just swing in a playoff series?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that means big picture, but I just know, when we come off a tough game like that where we extend some minutes, we've got guys we trust. We got guys that have earned trust. They've stepped up in big moments in previous playoff runs. They've stepped up in big moments in the regular season. They have the trust and support of their teammates, and they feel a sense of responsibility to go in there and play the way they did. And I just thought we tried to keep the subs very fresh in the first half, and everybody that touched the floor brought energy to the game. And those guys in particular that I mentioned off the top, those bench guys today were unbelievable. They just brought great juice to the game and made big plays for us.
Shai didn't have a bucket in the second half until that drive with, I think 4:36 to go. Obviously, a few big buckets down the stretch. Wasn't able to get a lot of shot attempts. I think only 2 shot attempts until those last 5 minutes in the second half. What was stopping him from getting looks, and then how did things open up for him those last 5 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, some of it's execution, some of it's the defense, some of it's shot making, but it's like, he was pretty sharp today, but Dub goes 2 for 13, Murray goes, where was Murray? 5 for 15, Jokic 7 for 22. It's like, this is the playoffs. It's hard. It's really hard to get great looks. It's really hard because of the physicality, the scheming, the familiarity. It's much easier to score in the All-Star game, obviously, for those 4 guys than it is to score in the playoffs. So I thought our guys on our end showed great resilience of just staying in there for the game. And Shai, obviously, not his best third quarter, but he really delivered down the stretch.
Coach, Jamal finished with 17 points on 15 shots. Just how important was the collective approach? Obviously, Lou draws the brunt of that responsibility, but how important was the collective approach on Jamal?
Yeah, I thought, like I said, it's really, he's a great player. It's really hard in the playoffs, for everybody, and there's nothing convenient about these games, and so it tests your will as a player. He's a great player, but, we tried to keep fresh legs on him and on Jokic, not only today, but in the series. So with Jokic, we've got, Jay Will on him, we got Hart on him, we'll throw Chet on him for a period of time. We've put Smalls on him sparingly, but we're not afraid to do it. And then with Murray, same thing. Dort does a great job on him, obviously, but AC down the stretch, Kaysen in kind of the meat of the second half was unbelievable on him. So those guys are really good, and so we're trying to utilize the strength of our team, to try to slow them down.
Mark, both you and the players expressed a lot of optimism after Game 3, but is there a part of you that is happier to see your group win a game in this fashion than maybe the fashion you did in Game 2, or does that not kind of matter? Just getting it back to 2-2 is the most important thing?
I mean, every game's different, so you have to play the game as it comes and learn from every experience. The one thing I will say is, competition's about throwing punches and competition's about taking punches, and every time you take punches and you get back up, you get stronger, and that's what we're preaching to our team, we lost a tough one the other night in overtime, stood back up today, especially at the start of the game. I really love the approach to start the game, and then we took punches in the game today and had to stand back up. But every time you do that, you bind together more, and you get stronger, and that's a good thing for us. You have to embrace every experience that happens in the playoffs, whether it's positive or a challenge.
Mark, you talked about Lou's defensive impact, but he's been an integral part on both ends for you guys this year. He shot 42% from 3 during the regular season. For whatever reason, the shots aren't really falling. I think he's under 30% in the playoffs. How do you sort of evaluate playing on the margins with stuff like that whenever, I guess, the margins are so thin in the playoffs, of just riding out those stretches, because he has been a guy who's been somewhat streaky?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely trust the body of work over time more than small sample sizes. So, if the question is whether or not I'm confident in Lou's three-point shooting, I am, because he's shown the ability to not only make a lot of shots over a long period of time, but he's made big shots, in big moments in playoff games. So he's the last guy I'm worried about. But, we also have a deep team, and I thought Kaysen gave us good juice tonight. Caruso was really engaged in the game in the fourth quarter. Decided to go with those guys down the stretch. It wasn't necessarily related to the shooting. It was more related to how the guys that were in the game were playing.
Can you kind of touch on the poise of Cason Wallace specifically? Caruso's been here, Wiggins has been around longer, but it's easy to forget that Cason's a second-year player.
Yeah, it is, because he doesn't act like it, he doesn't play like it. So, great juice tonight. He was unbelievable on Murray. He made some big, hustle plays. He made I think a deflection on Gordon in transition right before we subbed him out. That was a big-time play. And then offensively, played really well, really, really solid. Shot the right shots, made the right plays for the most part. But he was fresh, too. I didn't play him a ton the other night. And so we knew we would have fresh legs with him and that he was ready to compete in the game, and he delivered.
Mark, you mentioned having to embrace this experience. I think you and Alex the other day were just saying that you guys were excited for the Denver series because you got a chance to push a team like that to their limit. Just in doing so, did you learn anything about this group?
I mean, today wasn't an end point. It's a series to 4, and it's 2-2 right now. So we're not drawing any conclusions, but you have to embrace all the experiences that happen in the playoffs. There's a reason, that everybody loves the playoffs. It's because it's really challenging, and you got to be able to rise to different challenges. You have to be able to rise through the discomfort of the playoffs, whether that's individually for a player that's struggling or whether that's collectively for a team. And if you take the right approach to that, it can forge you into a better team and into a great team, as I said the other night after the loss. And I thought we got strong. We're a stronger team right now, internally, not even relative to the series. We're a stronger team right now than we were 4 games ago because of these experiences, and we just have to continue to take that mindset to whatever comes our way.
Mark, I think it's 3 straight games now that you guys have won the rebounding battle after game 1. Just how do you like the response from the group after the physicality Denver showed in that first game, just kind of on both ends, offensively and defensively?
Yeah, Denver crashed harder tonight, so that was a taller task tonight. Because I think as they missed shots early, both teams missed shots early, started sending a lot of guys to the glass, and so they were firing in there, and we really had to earn a lot of those rebounds, and we did. And so the guys done a great job on the offensive glass as well, and pretty much limiting their transition despite the offensive rebounding. We got to hit them, but if they're crashing in there, we think we can run them if we get the ball, and that showed up multiple times in the game. So a great effort by the guys, physicality.
Anyone else? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Shai, the resolve that you guys showed throughout, the tone you set and the way you closed it, what did you like best about the overall performance and the way to get out a win?
Yeah, I think we fought. We stayed the course. Like the game, the game, especially in the series, has been so random almost. And it's thrown different things at us, and I think we've been able to stay the course. We did that to perfection tonight, and it gave us a chance late, and then we closed the game.
You and Dub were able to get downhill and kind of maybe extend the defense a little bit more. What did you think about the ways that you guys were able to maybe stretch some things out and get some downhill attacks?
Yeah, we were decisive. We just tried to be aggressive. Nothing more than that.
Shai, kind of building off that, they obviously made it tough for you to get into the paint for the vast majority of the game. A lot of that's the zones that they're throwing at you. What are they doing defensively that's making life difficult for you? And then, what kind of opened up for you down the stretch?
Yeah, they're doing a good job of throwing multiple bodies. They're, like you said, playing a lot of zone, which doesn't really leave anybody on the island, and it's like a box behind the guy guarding me. But yeah, I think we attacked it pretty good tonight. We got good looks in the zone. That little spurt when they went on the run and they were in the zone, we got pretty good looks and weren't making them, and then they started to fall and we were able to get back in the game. But yeah, those type of defenses just force you to pass, and I just have to be willing to make the right play every time and live with the result.
On the other side, Joker's had 3 really rough shooting nights, especially for him. What are you seeing that you guys are doing defensively to affect him?
I'm not sure. We have to keep doing it if we want to win.
Hey, Shai, at crunch time, you guys really, buckled down and got it done today. What did you like in your crunch time approach down the stretch?
Say again, sorry?
I'm sorry, in crunch time in this game, you guys really buckled down and took care of business. What did you like in your crunch time, I guess, approach?
Yeah, we got stops. We rebounded, and then we got quality possessions offensively. That's what it usually comes down to, just quality possessions on both ends of the floor. And I think offensively we got that tonight.
Shai, knowing the ramifications of what a loss would have meant, what was your mentality coming into this game, walking into the arena, and are you the type that just puts a lot of pressure on yourself to make it happen?
Yeah, my mentality was do whatever it takes to win. And yeah, I do put a lot of pressure on myself. I have very high expectations for myself. I always have. I always dream big and reach for the stars, and I try to accomplish my goals.
At the end of the game, you almost kind of like a closer in baseball. I kind of felt like you closed the game. Did you feel like, especially with such a tough offensive night for everybody on both sides, that whether it's you making a shot or you getting into the right teammate, that you had to close the game?
Yeah, I always feel like I have to. I always feel like those are the moments where the guy on the team earns his buck. You earn your money. You close games, you win games, and that's what everything's about, winning games. And the later you go in the season, the better the teams, the closer the games, and you need to rise to the occasion.
Mark was just saying that, 4 games ago, or 4 games later, I should say, that you guys are a stronger team now because of these experiences, because of sort of the way you close a game like today, and that sort of shows internally. Just how have you seen that sort of manifest?
Yeah, I think, like I said it to Gallo, the series has thrown so many random things at us, things that like are unexpected, are like out of the norm, and I think we've done a really good job of just like accepting where we are and not fraying from who we are and who we've been all season, and I think that's why we got a W tonight and are able to even the series. We've done a really good job of just like not wavering from our identity.
And as far as you, going back to you being a closer, clearly you've tried to get that step back 3 to go for the past 2 games now. How sort of gratifying is it, even though that shot hasn't really gone down, how gratifying is it for you to sort of close a game like today knowing all that Denver's thrown at you?
Yeah, it felt good. It always feels good to win, sucks to lose. And like I said last game, I'm always willing to take the good and the bad. And last game I took the bad, and tonight I'll take the good.
Shai, after that tough third quarter, and you guys bounced back in a big way in that final frame, how significant was those guys stepping up in the sense of Casey Wallace and Aaron Wiggins and Caruso and all that? And is that something that happened organically? Did you guys say something in the timeout? How did that all play out?
Yeah, that's who we've been all year. We've been a deep team. We have guys that have come in, stepped up all year. We've had injuries. Guys have stepped up their role. Guys have lessened their role and jumped back in the rotation and had big minutes. Like, we've been a team that has just done whatever it takes to win across the board. And that group to start the fourth did a really good job of getting us back in the game. And definitely the reason why we won.
Shai, a big topic of discussion for this team the last couple of years has been the youth and lack of experience. I just wanted to ask, with a guy like Caruso through these 4 games and the series before, how has he sort of filled in the gaps for you guys with sort of just elevating and going to the next level learning?
Yeah, he's a riser. He rises to the occasion. It's clear as day how special he's been to us. His like ability to just impact the game, impact winning, and whatever it calls for. He, whether it's making shots, whether it's getting deflections, whether it's getting steals, getting stops, picking up full court, rebounding, cracking back, like he does whatever it takes, and he does that at a high level. And he's the only player on this team that's won a championship, and it's no coincidence. He does what it takes to win basketball games on the highest stage, and he's done so far.
Yeah. Your mother was a great athlete in her own right. Dealt with high pressure situations. Do you get any counsel? I assume you talked to her before the game and said, Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Did you receive any counsel from her? Did she give you any words of wisdom that carried with you today?
My parents, they don't like hype me up or turn me up for basketball games, but one thing like she always taught me was like, no matter what happens, she's gonna love me, and I guess that gives me the ability to go out there and not really care what happens. The people that matter most in my life are gonna treat me the same way no matter what happens out there, and that gives me the ability to just trust my work, trust whatever happens, and be able to put a smile on my face at the end of the night, no matter what.
What's your mentality going forward now with the split?
The series is 0-0 in its first of 2 games.
Thank you, Shai.
Hey, Chet. First of all, how are you feeling after taking that huge blow? And second of all, just the way that fourth quarter played out in the sense of you guys closing out on a win like this, especially on the road. How significant is that in the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm good. I caught one, and it stung pretty bad, but like it didn't like rattle my head too much, so I'm good. And then it's big. That's a must-win game right there. Wasn't pretty on either side, but at the end of the day, you got to figure out how to come away with the win. We didn't do that 2 times already in this series, so it's good to be able to do that tonight. And now, focus moves on towards the next game. We got to, continue to be better throughout the series, put ourselves in a better spot to win each of these games.
Is there a relief at all to avoid going home in a 3-1 hole?
There's no relief at all. It's, still a really competitive series with a good team on the other side. There's no relaxing until, there's just no relaxing at all.
Did you guys gain some confidence the way you guys finished in the fourth quarter?
I say yes. We executed well. Plays went our way as well, but we can't count on plays going our way. We have to continue to execute well down the stretch and do everything we can to put ourselves in the position that we need to be in to win the game. That's what we did tonight, and we're going to have to continue doing that going forward.
Last one for me. The bench today was incredible. Knocked down 8 threes.
Man, I can't speak enough about those dudes. They stay ready on a moment's notice for whatever's asked of them, and it showed tonight. They came out and made big shots for us all night long, especially Wiggs in that fourth to get things started. And, without them, we don't win that game. So, a lot of credit has to go to them.
Chet, you mentioned the execution late. What'd you feel out there in terms of the spacing and you guys' ability to maybe spread their defense a little bit more? You got Dub and Shai on downhill attacks.
Yeah, I felt like we knew where we needed to be. We knew what we were trying to do, and then from there it was just kind of reading how the defense reacted and making plays. And I feel like everybody who touched the ball in those situations made the right reads, made the right plays, and we were able to make enough plays to come away with the win.
Yeah, Chet, after game 1, you mentioned how Kenrich brought you over to watch basketball, kind of get your mind off of things, and a couple other guys mentioned how he stepped up as a voice in the locker room. He said, and his message for game 4 or game 4 was just you can't lose it. How valuable has it been to have a guy like that hasn't really played in the series staying engaged as a leader?
It's extremely important. We can't just give credit to him. All the guys are locked in. They're all, playing their part, doing whatever they can to help push this team forward. And, the huge credit goes to Kay. He's just super steady mind, and that kind of flows on to everybody around him. Just the way he speaks, the advice that he gives us, it's extremely helpful. And we don't have a locker room where guys are afraid to say what needs to be said. And, he's one of the first to be speaking when something needs to be said and we need to figure something out. And we always trust that the intentions are right behind that, no matter who it is. And, we're going to need that from everybody going forward, and especially K.
Chet, last season you guys were in a somewhat similar situation where 2-1, you're facing going down 3-1 on the road, big gutsy win on the road, you come back home. How does that experience sort of help you handle and approach this one?
We always learn from our experiences, good or bad, and I don't think last year was anything different. We just have to understand that this year it's a different team that we're playing. They're going to throw different looks at us. We're going to see different things, but the goal doesn't change. We have to do what we have to do to control the things we can control on our end to put ourselves in the best spot to win the game. And, saying game 4 is a must-win, every game's a must-win. So we gotta figure out how to get it done.
Thank you, Jack.
Yep.
Christian, just from your perspective, what happened in the first quarter? You guys only score 8 points, and it felt like there was a lid on the rim for much of that time.
We just missed a lot of shots. I think we got a lot of good ones. They just didn't go down, and I think obviously that's a big part of the game. Our big moment in the game, we just didn't play well offensively. Thought our defensive energy was great, though, even though we were missing shots. So just got to keep that up.
Christian, despite the rough start, you guys are up 8 at one point before it gets away. Do you feel like that was just, did you guys run out of physical energy, or was there like a sigh of relief, like we survived the rough start, we're up 8 and we're...
Neither. We just didn't make enough plays. I think that we had the physical energy. We put ourselves in a really good spot, I think, and battled back, like you said. Played well defensively all game. Just didn't hit enough shots. Got a little careless with the ball, I think, late. But we'll be better next game, and we'll be ready.
Christian, walk me through the 5-second call there. What happened?
It's my fault, and I got the ball. So I got to get guys in their spots, or at least not take the ball out until guys get in their spots, and we got to be better at that point. It's a big point in the game. I think it was a 3-point game at the time, and then we give the ball back to them. So big moment, and I got to do a better job of getting the guys where they're supposed to be.
CB, I know you said you guys generated good shots, but you guys seem to shoot less in the paint today than kind of your normal. Does there need to be a refocus on just getting back into the paint for Game 5?
Well, I mean, we always have that focus. I think that we always do a good job of getting good shots in the paint, getting enough shots in the paint, but we shot a lot of really, really good shots, open shots that we will hit next game, and we just got to hit them. That's all it was. We took a lot of really good shots, especially in the first half, and they just didn't go down, but that's okay. We'll be ready for next game.
Christian, it feels like throughout these entire playoffs, the momentum has swung so far left, so far right for you guys throughout the entire time. Just what has given you the ability, what has given this team the ability to kind of stay the course?
I think we've seen so much. We've been through so much together. Especially those 4 guys and all the coaches, they've been through so many, series, and they've been to the top. They've won it. They've missed a play. They've done everything. So I think that we'll be ready and we'll stay together. And just the most important thing on our mind is, next game. So we got to be better for Game 5, and we got to go to Oklahoma, and we got to get one.
Christian, you guys already been through a 7-game gauntlet. There's a 36-hour, turnaround from 3 to 4. Is it tough, just playing a team like Oklahoma City in this particular type of game that can throw, 9, 10 bodies, fresh legs out there at a time against you guys?
I mean, yeah, they're a good team. They're deep, and that's just who they are. They throw a lot of different guys at you, and I think their bench today maybe was the biggest part of the game. They came in and hit a lot of really tough shots, really big shots. Timely shots, especially late in the second half, and those guys, I think, put them over the top tonight. But it doesn't matter. We got enough energy. We work hard enough to put ourselves in a good spot. And like I said, we were right where we wanted to be. We just didn't make enough plays, and I think I got to get us organized better on both ends in the second half, especially when we did get that lead coming out of the timeouts. I got to make sure we're, in our spots and we're ready to play. So we'll be ready.
Christian, what's just been the emphasis throughout this series in terms of the spacing around Nikola and trying to make things as easy for him to operate with the crowds that they're showing him?
Same as always. I think they're doing a really good job. They've got a lot of really good defenders that they're putting on him, but same spacing as always. Just depending on what they throw at us. We've kind of seen a lot of different things thrown at him. He's seen every coverage, so
Same things we've always done. We just got to convert, I think, and we got to execute better.
So good.
Hard again tonight. The rebounding and the paint, you guys win those battles. Tell me about the impact that that's playing right now in the series and how it helped out tonight.
It's huge. I mean, you want to win those little battles, and I think especially in the playoff series, rebounding, not turning the ball over, controlling the paint is big. And so I think every night we try to establish that, and it's a team effort. I mean, yeah, we have Jokic crashing a lot, so I kind of have to box him out a lot. But again, it's still boxing out Gordon, Westbrook, and all those guys that consistently crashing. I think just as a team, we've been doing a really good job of just consistently getting bodies on guys and going to get the ball.
And then on the other end, they've been trying to keep that zone so compact and not get it extended. And you guys, you specifically, I think, were able to help spring Shai and Dub on downhill drives. What was key there in terms of spacing execution late?
Again, I think like everything on our team, it's about team basketball. So I think it's not just letting Shai just go one-on-one against everybody. So it's, hey, how can we move? How can we get him easier looks? But then how also Shai's unselfish, Dub's unselfish. And so I think they do also a great job of how can they get us easy looks. So I think in general, it's a mixture between both. Again, getting Shai open, getting Dub open, but I think they do a great job of also finding us at the same time.
Isaiah, you've been a part of some playoff battles up close, and you've seen kind of the swings of playoff series in general. What was kind of your role as a leader once this team went down 2-1, kind of heading into this big game?
Again, just not overreacting. I think, especially in this playoff series, it's so emotional. And so I think you just have to be consistent, know what the reality is. And the reality was, we let those 2 games slip. We can't change that at this moment. The only thing we can change is what we do in the present moment. So I think that's just kind of my role, is just get everyone refocused, get everyone emotionally ready for what we have to do. And that's the biggest thing with the playoffs, is the swings go up and down. And yeah.
Isaiah, I guess a two-parter for you. I'm going to ask the first one first. Joker just appeared to be fatigued at the end. I mean, it's a lot of minutes, it's a big series. But what are you guys doing well, just teamwork, to kind of force him into a bad shooting night again?
It's a team effort. I think we do a great job of. It's mostly my job to defend him one-on-one. But again, I don't think my teammates are leaving me on the island. And I think that's what makes us so good. I mean, again, he's gonna make tough shots, and you just kind of have to mentally live with that. But I think in general, we're doing a great job of swarming, rotating the right way, and executing the game plan. And that's what you're gonna need against a great player like that.
And the second one is, I know it's a small sample size, but when you were here and you saw him in practice and you got to go against him, how much does that help you for now?
I mean, I was there for like 2 days, low-key, so no, but in general, he helped me a lot. I mean, I have a lot of respect for him, a lot of respect how he approaches each day. I think passing-wise, he helped me take another step. I think before I was a good passer, but he took me really to now, I think I'm one of the best big passers in the league, and he took me to that another level, just with the details of how to get guys open with your eyes, knowing when someone's open when he maybe doesn't seem open, if that kind of makes sense. So he helped me a lot in that aspect, and he was always very open to any question I had, and so I have a lot of respect for him for doing that.
Somewhat related to that, I know the series isn't over, but you had that experience with him. You've obviously played against him a lot. Yeah. Which is the bigger challenge between sort of the mental game with his basketball IQ and skills versus just the physical game?
It's a mixture. I think more mental. I think any playoff series, just the mental aspect of it, hey, I'm going to be disciplined every time we have a game plan. I'm going to stick to it. And then especially with a guy like him, I mean, he'll make a step back, fadeaway shot where you're like, how did that go in? But you have to mentally just be okay with this. and knowing that this is the shot I kind of want him to take, and he's going to make tough shots, exactly kind of how Shai, I mean, I've been watching all year, Shai makes tough shots where probably the defenders are like mentally kind of down on it. So I think just mentally staying in it, mentally knowing what you want to get him to, and then kind of sticking to that game plan.
Anybody else? Thanks, Mark.
Appreciate y'all.
Dub, defensively, what did you feel in the opening minutes of this game, in the first quarter to hold them to 8, and then late to just continue to stack up the stops that you needed?
Energy was very good from the start. That's it on that part. I think when you hold the team to 8, a lot of that is just energy, attention to detail, holding them to one shot. Like we just did a lot of the core fundamental stuff that comes with defense, and then just being able to play through their runs. We've kind of, I don't want to say collapsed, but they've made a lot of those deep runs with like 3-4 minutes left, and I thought we did a good job of like learning the lessons that we could from what happened in previous games and got better as the series has gotten on, and we did a good job of kind of clamping down on, again, just like the core stuff that we've been doing all year.
And you were able to kind of punch that gap on the left side to get that driving layup. That's been hard to come by all series against that zone. What's key to being able to kind of generate those types of attacks the way that you did late?
Having a good process throughout the whole entire game, not giving them like a steady diet of the same thing over and over again. And I think, too, just being ready to make a play. We had a lot of guys that were able to do that tonight, but specifically just punching that gap, just seeing what the defense gives me and going from there.
4 games later, you guys are a better team, a stronger team internally than you were when the series started because of experiences like this. Like, have you sensed that internally, and did you see that sort of manifest itself late game?
For sure. Yeah. It's hard to lose the first game at home and turn the table and obviously come back and win that one and then give up another one here. And then especially like the way we've lost too, like I think we've done a good job of just learning from it and getting better. But yeah, we're a totally different team, and that's going to go beyond this series even to like next year. Like we're going to be better because of a lot of the experiences that we've been in.
Like they've thrown, I know they've thrown a lot at Shai in this series. Just he's tried to get that step back 3 to go, dating back to last game. He didn't get it today, but it felt like he played a big role in closing. Like, how have you seen him sort of take the punches and adjust, and what did you see from him late today?
Yeah, I think that goes back to what Mark was saying just about how we're a better team, like even individually. Like some of those shots weren't falling, and it doesn't ever falter his attack or his approach. Like you never see him hesitate to shoot the next one, and that's why he's such a good player, and we still trust him to take those shots down the stretch, and he made a bunch of them. And, ultimately that's one of the big reasons why we won the game, and one of the big reasons he's who he is.
Jalen, after losing Game 3, you were asked about late game usage, getting touches, and you immediately responded by saying, not only do you get enough touches, but there's other guys that can step up. Those other guys stepped up big time in this fourth quarter, right, after this game. Guys like Caruso, guys like Wiggins. How significant is that? And do you think that that's an advantage that you guys have, a legitimate advantage you guys have in this series against the Nuggets?
Yeah. We just have guys that are ready to go. I've been saying that all year, so I'm not really finna deviate from it. We have a lot of guys that can play and do a lot of things on the floor, and it doesn't have to be scoring. And that's what makes our team special. Being able to play multiple guys in a series, and then for them to have the same mentality to be ready and make plays is really good. Can you guys hear me, or is that loud? Yeah. Okay. But yeah, we just have guys that are ready to step up, and I think that's just an advantage. Not even this series, but it's just an advantage in general to know that you can go down your roster and somebody's going to be ready to make a play and just go out and buy into what the team's trying to do.
Shai earlier was in here and he described AC as a riser. And I don't know if he meant that just in the sense of the playoffs, but how has he sort of helped you guys in just filling in the gaps as a team that doesn't have a ton of experience, but he is a guy who's done the ultimate goal?
Yeah, I mean, he's literally, like you said it last, like he's literally won a championship, so he knows what it takes, what goes into it. I think he won the bubble one, right? Yeah, like that. I feel like that's one of the harder championships to win just because there really wasn't a lot going on, so he's seen a lot. And for him to win in that environment, he kind of knows what it takes. And he's kind of like our vocal leader, and he goes out there and makes plays consistently throughout each series we've been in. So definitely lucky to have him. He's been doing a great job for us too.
Yep.
Nikola, obviously you're one of the most efficient players that we've seen play the game. What in your mind is kind of the root cause of your shooting struggles over these last few games, and what can you do to maybe generate better looks for yourself?
I mean, it's a little bit of everything, they're playing really good defense on me. They're really into my body, handsy, physical. And I think I missed like 2-3 open looks tonight. So it's a little bit of everything, they're shrinking the ball, they're shrinking the floor for me. They're having guy behind the defender. So it's a little bit of everything, So it's. I need to do a better job, of course, but it's part of the game.
Nikola, team scored 8 points in the first quarter. Just how much effort do you think it took to dig out from under that and get you guys back into the game? And do you think you had anything left for the rest of the game?
I mean, I think they scored 17, so our defense was kind of good too, But I think we had open looks. We just couldn't. Okay, some of them are local open looks. They were physical, of course, it's like I said, it's part of the game. We took it, and at the second quarter we scored 28 points. So it was a good kind of half for it was in the end. It was a good half for us. We were down, I think, 5 after all of that, or 6.
Could you talk about just how up and down the fourth quarter was, and what Shai was able to do to kind of win the game for Oklahoma City?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we were trying to give him different looks. He's a great player. We didn't do enough like we did the first game, maybe helping CB or whoever, or Russ or whoever was on the ball, just to give him a little bit of extra attention, let's say like that, and make him think about a little bit more. But Shai is an amazing player. He was really good tonight, and he was one of the reasons why they won the game.
Nikola, what kind of impact do you think the short rest had on the game tonight?
I mean, not much, to be honest, in my opinion, because when I play, I don't think about that. So not a lot.
What are they doing well against you right now with just sending different double teams at you, and how much is it affecting your shooting?
I mean, it's everything. It's a little bit everything, They're physical, they're handsy, they're coming, they're really, they're good with help, and sometimes I just cannot make a shot. So it's a little bit of everything right now. So, like I think I had like a hook at fourth quarter. I had an open hook. I missed it. 2 free throws, big 2 free throws I missed. We were down 4. If I made it, we were down 2. 1 possession game. So they score after that. So it's a 6 points, 2 possession game or even more. So like I think we had the chances. We had a lot of. We just didn't. We didn't make shots.
What was the breakdown on the 5-second call inbounds?
Yeah, that was a big play. I think 3 minutes. Is it 3 minutes to go? We can inbound the ball. It's little everybody. That cannot happen. That was a big moment. It just cannot happen.
Nikola, how are you feeling about the series so far? How are you feeling about how you guys have played, and how are you feeling about your guys' chances to come out of this series?
I mean, I think we are 4-4 in the global in the whole season against them. So we need to give ourselves a chance. We need to play physical. We need to be more physical than them, aggressive, and of course they're favorites. They're playing amazing. They won 6, 7. How many games they won? But we need to give ourselves a chance to be close and to be like up and to just to give ourselves a chance to win a game.
Nikola, with over here, with the angles that you see as a facilitator, is there something unique about what Oklahoma City is doing to kind of get in passing lanes, their ability to kind of recover in certain windows or cut off cuts that you guys, or that you normally see?
Yeah, of course, it's a playoffs and it's a physical game. They're really good at the play. Not just playing passing lane. Whenever we dribble, they're coming to tip the ball from behind in transition. They're playing passing. They're not getting back. They're going to steal the ball. So even the passing lanes, they're playing the passing lanes. They are not afraid to. Even if we go backdoor, they know the Chet is going to be there. So they're a really good team, and there is a reason why they lost only 12. How many games? 14.
Where do you feel like you guys are at, just with the different zone looks that you've been throwing at them, and just how you've executed those throughout the series?
It was good. I mean, they scored 92 points. I think our defense is not something that. How to say, like we are fighting. I think that's not a problem. I think the shooting tonight was big. We shot 31% from the field, so it's really hard to win against that team if you don't shoot the ball well. Thank you guys. Pleasure, Nikola.